Hey guys, just wanted to do an update on the overall market. I had been talking about the market sell-off recently in the last video and the last couple of videos. This one's just going to be a little bit more about the overall market and sort of tips or whatever you want to call them, my thoughts on reading the market. So this was yesterday on the screen. This is a 5-minute chart of the ES, so the S&P 500 or spiders. So up here is where we are today. So we started off on a huge gap up, and I'm going to get to why that's important in a second. And we're hovering around this area today, but I wanted to go back to yesterday first. Yesterday, if you came in and you were, so the first thing is just the importance of looking at the overnight, because a lot of people ignore that, or kind of, even if they don't ignore it, they sort of, discount it, I guess is the right word for it. They don't pay that much attention to it. And I think it's important to do so. So yesterday the market came in, really exploded higher and then got rejected massively. So you can see up here, this is, 17-ish. And usually when you get that kind of explosive move off the open, it doesn't get rejected like that, but it did. And then we went down to 42.80-ish. So that was a pretty big rejection. Then we came up and rejected again, and then sort of found the bottom around here. And then, of course, we got that massive rally, and this, which is important too. Now, so how could you have known, this is a spot where we could get rejected? Well, this thing that I was talking about ignoring the overnight, if I change this to a 24-hour chart, and then try to make it as clear as possible here. So this was the overnight right here. So if you see the times, this is in the middle of the night. This is 11 o'clock and 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. This is Midwest time. So those are the highs that got rejected. So when you look at the day chart only, you don't see this, right? So that's how you could know, like, hey, if I'm long, I want to be cautious, and you obviously could consider a short here too. So this area here is now a lot more obvious when you see it on the, again, this is a 5-minute, but now this is just this is the 24-hour session. So now it's a little more clear why why these rejections kind of happened. And then we get this massive breakout here, right? So this becomes an area that we broke out from, and then when it pulled back, you can see it held the top of it. So again, that whole concept of resistance becoming support, or support becoming resistance, but in this case, it's resistance becoming support. So when it broke out, it pulled back and held that area, and then we got this, right? And then, of course, we've got this. This is today. I'm going to go back and kind of back out a little bit. Let's go to a 30. And so just to make this a little clearer, if you look at the 24-hour chart, meaning night and day session, we have this whole area that we just broke out from. So each of these demarcation lines here, hopefully you can see them, those are each session, so each day. So this is a 30-minute chart. So so you can say this is 6 or 7 sessions, or 5 or 6 sessions that we finally broke out from, and that's the area where I said held. Obviously this is a 30-minute chart, so it's going to look a little bit different. So those are the rejection points here. I mean, that was the overnight I was referring to, and then here's the rejection. Then we broke out from there, right? So, and you can't see the pullback on this one because it's a 30-minute chart, but you just saw it on the 5-minute. So anyway, we come up here and now we're hanging out. We're up quite a bit here. We're up 1.35%. And we got this massive move off the open. Now, you might say, well, how could I get on board? Well, if you know that this is a huge area that we're breaking out from, the same concept as this pullback that held. I can go back to the 5-minute just really quickly, just so you guys are totally aware of what I was talking about. So just like this area held, that's the pullback I was referring to a couple of minutes ago. So once it broke out, it pulled back, and then the top of those rejection areas, hopefully I'm not confusing too many people, but so those are the overnight areas I was talking about, why you would know that this would be resistance, and then it became support and held that area. Well, the same thing happened this morning. We broke out, but it held the top. Let's just quick go back to the 30. So you can see this massive area, right? And the whole concept is, if this area ends up becoming support after being resistance, and I mean, that's a pretty big resistance zone. So you can see it's either going to hold or it's not, right? So taking a long here is not crazy in any way, because you're right at the, you've gone above it, you've broken out above this area I'm talking about. And there's no guarantee on any trade, of course, and this is not financial advice, but if you see something like this, I mean, you can definitely tell this is a big area right here, the top of this range. So, I mean, all we can do is put our best educated guess on the line. And so, if you were aware of this area, you could get long this even if we go back to a 5-minute here. So this would be the area. It looks a little bit more, because this is a big move, right, for one day. And so this was the overnight. It had broken above that huge area and had come back down. No, these are kind of, I don't want to say they're hard trades, but they're pretty binary in the sense that, I mean, every trade is, but this is a huge area, right? So just breaking out of it, if we hold it, I mean, something like this is probably going to occur. Now, could we come back down? Of course, yeah. The first day that a breakout occurs is kind of the test, right? To see if the breakout's going to hold. And so we'll see. We don't know. But I just wanted to say, how could you have gotten on board here? Well, if you understand the backdrop, all this other stuff, that's pretty huge. So hopefully that's helpful. And you can see again here, the same pattern here happened with the overnight. So we broke out, came down, ripped higher, and where did it pull back to? It came back to the top of this smaller area, right? Just like the other examples. I won't go back again, but you saw what I was talking about. So it rips up, pulls back, holds the top of this. Again, it's not that, it would be probably better to come to here. This is a pretty aggressive trade, but certainly a valid trade. But anyway, this, if you saw this morning, because this happened right on the open, this shoot up. But if you knew about this, then you could potentially have gotten on board. So just wanted to give you that. And, one more thing, just really larger time frame stuff. This is the weekly. So you can see that we had, kind of broke below. I don't generally use trend lines, but I know a lot of people do. So, I mean, if you can kind of see this. So, some people will use something along these lines. This is not a perfect representation. But anyway, we had broken significantly down and gotten some pretty big sell-off, and now we're returning, back, kind of testing the trend line that broke. If you see on the 30-minute again, and we back out, well, this breakout, if we just go to the 60, let's say, we could be challenging these highs, right? These are the highs up at 44.80-ish, and then even higher, going further back. But this breakout is very significant. So if it holds, meaning if it comes back down here and still holds up, let me get rid of that trend line. So, you know, this is a potential for new highs. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying it's possible. And then a retest of this area. I'm not recommending you make any trades, but I will be definitely, unless it's a massive trend down day with huge momentum down. If we come back to this area, I'll certainly be trading it again. So that's just for my personal recommendation or my personal account. So that's it for today. Hopefully that helps clear up some stuff. So I'll talk to you in the next one.